Good day, everybody. It is Calxiyn and Hunter here, and we are here to talk about all of the RWBY news that happened at RTX, or the lack thereof. I did not go to RTX this year because I am in Urinetown and am forbidden to flee the country, despite, you know, how much I may want to. I'm kidding. I love what we're doing with the show. It's great. It's great. But I couldn't go to RTX this year.
And I've never been.
So we'll talk about the green light thing at the end. Let's go through everything else that happened first. Luckily, we have a nice little summary from the Austin Chronicle. Thank you, Austin Chronicle.
Support your local news organization.
Yeah, I guess.
Support local original journalism.
So obviously, the Justice League movie's coming out. They showed a still from it. Yang has the biggest
giant boobs.
donkers
like
in
gravity
so
warps around it.
I don't
Neil
know.
deGrasse Tyson stare at that, and he's like, you can see here the gravitational waves coming off of her.
I don't know if they
because
mentioned
of the sheer
when
mass
it was coming out. If they did, it's not in this article. The Volume 9 DVD will be available on October 3rd in RWBY Fairy Tales, and I guess RWBY Chibi is also being added to the DVD. The soundtrack is coming out on July 28th. That's probably the best announcement that we got. They mentioned 44 tracks. You guys have to remember that that includes the score,
instrumental
right? Because people were like 44, and I'm like, can you guys please use your brain? It includes the score. There's also going to be like DC RWBY paperback published comic. Like basically, they've been doing like DC/RWBY comics, not the old ones. They've been doing new ones, and the paperback will be published apparently,
which
collecting
sucks,
all 7 issues of the comic.
I was really hoping for RWBY X Scooby-Doo comic books to be released, and they haven't done it.
That was basically everything that was announced, pretty much.
Well, there's Juniper plushies and charms.
What?
Team Juniper plushies and RWBY charms.
The makeshift merch. I thought you meant Juniper, like the
plant?
Animal.
Oh,
like, I was
goodness,
like, what are you talking
Juniper,
about? There was also some Roman merch that was just chilling in the hall, and it said coming soon to the Rooster Teeth
And
store,
it was a little
but
bowler
it wasn't
hat?
announced at the panel. Like, mostly it focused, as far as I'm aware, focused on the 10th anniversary merch that was already there. So, like, the panel was a merch advertisement, really. Like, it was kind of a glorified merch advertisement, not gonna lie, because it showed us everything that we already knew. The only real thing that it would interest me is, again, like the soundtrack. Obviously, we already knew about the Justice League movie. We already knew that the comics were probably gonna get published into a paperback.
Yeah, because they always do that.
There wasn't really
That's how
anything
comics
surprising.
work.
The soundtrack coming out really soon. That's a
nice.
surprise.
Yeah.
Like, I guess, you know, Jeff's not burnt out
Yeah.
anymore. Or I guess
Jeff's not involved.
Jeff's not involved.
Just drinking a Mai Tai on a sunny beach somewhere
and so
on vacation
I think maybe
with some funky ass
the
clothes,
lack of burnout
enjoying himself.
may help. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The fact
yeah,
that Casey, I hope they're not burnt out,
They got new
right?
fresh blood, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
you,
know,
Casey.
they're feeling good. Apparently, the Ruby Rose VTuber will start making vlogs, which I love that, okay? I don't care if you think it's cringe. I made an entire, like, business proposal in university for one of my final projects, and it was all about how companies can start to have character meet and greets with the voice actors playing the characters using their VTuber models, and it's happening. And so I'm happy to see it happening. It fills me with joy. I don't care if you think it's cringe. It's no different than like Disney meet and greets, you know what I mean? Like, what is more cringe? The voice actor standing behind an animated model and talking to you, or grown adults dressing up as Disney characters and role-playing as them in the parks? It's all the same.
I'm pretty sure those
you know
are
what
meant
I mean?
fictional.
But still, it's all the same, though, is my point, Hunter. Like, we're all performers. We're all doing a ridiculous, stupid job. You know,
a very silly job.
A very silly
job. If the
job.
world ends tomorrow, people will have no use for me dressing up like Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
That's something we keep talking about that's something we keep talking about in the musical. Like, this is a fundamentally ridiculous pursuit.
Yes.
Of, you know, and so anyway, I don't care if you think it's cringe. I love it. I'm happy. I guess, so now we can talk about the Volume 10 lack thereof. So Volume 10 is not greenlit. I think Hunter mentioned, and this may be true, I don't know, but like, Carrie and Eddie, I think, are salaried employees of Rooster Teeth. And so
they're
they
working
can
on
work
ideas.
on things.
Yes.
And they're allowed to work on things because they work there. Whereas I guess Kiersey and Miles
No, because they're on.
maybe they can text them in the group chat, but like they're correct. So I guess they mentioned in the panel that Eddie and Carrie are like throwing some stuff around.
Well, they're starting like the early like idea formation draft stuff.
But it's not greenlit.
Which is not the same as being greenlit because you kind of need that for your pitch.
Oh, yeah.
To be greenlit.
But that's literally the only thing they can do right now is I think the point.
Yeah.
Whereas if it was greenlit, they could start writing scripts. I don't know, like maybe like
scripts.
Like I don't know. I'm assuming if it's greenlit, they can write scripts. If it's not greenlit, they just sit around the office and they think of concepts, and they're not allowed to write possible. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just saying that like Miles and Carrie are working, but they can't actually write the scripts. I don't think if it is not greenlit. Let's talk about RWBY Volume 10 not being greenlit. Okay, I'm just surprised at I don't want to say the audacity because that's not the right word, but like while I was at school, I was texting Arnold and I was like, they can't announce new RWBY and new Camp but not new RWBY. That would be crazy. And then that's exactly what happened.
Well, Camp and RWBY
I know. But from just a PR shitstorm perspective, I was sitting in class in Urinetown singing my little Urinetown songs, and I was like, there's no way that they won't announce anything for RWBY when they announce stuff for these other things. That would be crazy. And that's exactly what happened. So it's interesting because we don't really know the circumstances of why RWBY is not allowed to be greenlit. However, Carrie did tweet something a long time ago, and it was like, Crunchyroll, let's talk.
Yeah, so after the
implication seems to be that Rooster Teeth wants a different company to foot the bill for RWBY, basically, and like order the season.
Yeah.
And pay for
commission them
Rooster Teeth to make the season. And
we have the goods. Do
yet.
You have the money?
Yeah. And so what's interesting is that the only way, or do they just want it to be that way and so they're holding out for it? If Crunchyroll never does this, is RWBY never going to be made? Question mark. But like, here's my thing. If this goes on longer than New York City Comic-Con, I will be worried. However, I do wonder if it's not an issue of like, because people are like, oh, the Justice League movie needs to be out. That's the condition. Or RWBY didn't make enough money through the streams. They need to get more money for merch. That's why they're releasing all this merch. They need more money. If it is past October, I will believe that the money is the problem. However, if it is announced at New York Comic-Con, I would like to propose that the issue is just time. Like, RWBY Volume 9 only ended a couple months ago. That's not a lot of time for Crunchyroll people to like sit down together in a boardroom and be like, ooh, do we want to buy this? Like, I don't know. I don't know how
presumably there's gonna be a lot of calculations, right? And that might take a while.
You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna pretend like I understand at all how these things come to be, right? But like, maybe like 4 months isn't enough time to do a business deal like that and get everything signed and whatever, right? And so if it happens at New York Comic-Con, I'm going to say that the only thing that was preventing the volume from being greenlit was just a matter of time. Like, the deal with Crunchyroll was not finalized yet, therefore hitherto they could not do anything. If we go into October after New York Comic-Con without an announcement, then I think we can start to panic, right? Because I didn't want to be the person that incites panic, right? However, I think that like that's sort of the situation, like that kind of seems like that could be the reasoning behind the situation. There's also a lot of just entertainment industry kerfuffle happening right now. And even though the writer's strike does not affect animation, like it could, you know,
because animation writers are not in the regular writing union. Yeah, live action writers.
But like, they could be, like, you know what I mean?
And
like,
they should be.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it could be something where they're like, we don't want to greenlight anything because we really don't know how things are going to turn out in the next couple of months.
And also, famously, right? Warner Brothers is going through a lot of difficulties right now. They went through a major merger and everything's being reshuffled.
Yeah.
They recently released one of the biggest Hollywood bombs of all time. in the Flash.
Yeah, and so I feel like that somebody explained this to me and I was kind of too stupid to understand, but I kind of get it. The fact that the writer's strike is happening is calling, I guess, the viability of like companies wanting to put stuff on streamable places into question, because the big companies do not want to pay the writers royalties for the work being on streaming websites. Because, even though that doesn't impact RWBY because it's animation, just the concept of the fact that like this is a conversation that is happening is freaking them out. That is what I understood.
Because the way that streaming is basically... So Netflix has not made a profit in like 10 years. A lot of these streaming services can't. Amazon Prime doesn't make any money at all. It is kept around just because of Amazon's other business ventures.
Like YouTube, kind of. Like in a sense,
kind of like
right?
YouTube in a way. The reason why they do that is because people really love streaming. It's very cheap and very convenient, but it doesn't make a lot of money compared to like a TV show that runs ad on television or a movie that you pay money to see in theaters. There's a lot more money in that, but people are just increasingly less interested in it. And the only way that they were able to survive in streaming was this notion that one day we will destroy everything else. You will only be able to stream.
Yeah,
and then
one day we will destroy the television.
And then, but then they'll hike up the prices. Uber did the same thing famously, and that's when we'll make our money. Or until that point, we make a lot of media, but we do it the cheapest way possible. And how you do that is you do not pay your writers at all. You do not pay your production staff at all. You film and like a lot of movies really aren't filmed in Hollywood and Los Angeles anymore. They're bouncing around the world in the United States to find places where taxes are low. It's this whole race to the bottom, and that bottom is going to rise if writers get paid what they're deserved.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the reason behind this anxiousness and why maybe people are not terribly enthused to jump on RWBY, even though RWBY would be a safe bet. Specifically because it's already incredibly popular, it already sells a whole lot of merch, and you don't have to pay the writers as much, regrettably.
Yeah, but just because that's happening, it's like, but RWBY's only streamable, it doesn't go on TV. Yeah. Maybe that's what they're trying to work out. Maybe they're trying to figure out how to put RWBY on TV or something like that. We don't really know. This is all speculation. However, given the fact that Carrie was like, let's talk Crunchyroll, I'm assuming that the Crunchyroll thing is involved somehow. And then that's also like, is Crunchyroll making a profit? Like, you know what I mean? Is Crunchyroll making enough money that they can do that? Like, it's like a very tightly weaved together sort of situation.
It's issue on issue on issue on issue, and all we want is RWBY.
That's the RWBY news.
I'm excited.
I should mention, there was also something shown at the panel that was an epilogue storyboard, but we're not talking about that here. We're gonna make a separate video sort of talking about it. So yeah, that was what was going on with that. I totally forgot to mention that earlier, but yeah, that's it. Hopefully Volume 10, I mean, if Volume 10 never gets greenlit, Fox and Neo is never disproven, so I can kind of live with this.
So that's a silver lining of a storm cloud that is more of a hurricane that will destroy my house and my community and everything I love and hold dear.
But we will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Bye!